Mistaken Identity Delta Goodrem album. Content. Music was one of the main comforts for Goodrem during the chemotherapy for her Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer diagnosis. Songs kept going around in her head, harmonies, melodies, lyrics many deeper and darker than those that were on her debut album, Innocent Eyes. Goodrem states it's a more grown-up album. My music changed because my life had changed. The whole world around me had changed. My music had to reflect that. Extraordinary Day is about the day 8 July 2003 when she was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma. The Last Night on Earth is a song about death and love. The analyst tells the story of the hours of self-analysis she dealt with. Be Strong is an encouraging call for confidence, and Mistaken Identity is Goodrem stating for the record where her head was at. She also stated, "There are a lot of lyrics I wouldn't have used on the first album. In Mistaken Identity, I played the role of the nice girl next door who gets cut like a knife. I mention emotional suicide in Electric Storm. There's some intense lyrics in there. It was an intense year. I mean, it wouldn't be right if I didn't acknowledge what went on. Everyone knows what went on. I feel like I know people personally even though I don't. But I feel I have." Musically, the album is more classically piano-driven and ventures into pop rock and pop jazz. The single A Little Too Late is guitar-driven pop rock song. Mistaken Identity is a dark, theatrical alternative pop song, while The Last Night on Earth is a pop rock ballad. Goodrem states that this time around I had time to think, what kind of song do I want to create here? I really felt the sky was the limit with this record. You could do anything in a song. I didn't feel limited at all. There were a lot more options, a lot more paths I could go down, more directions I could choose. Songwriter Guy Chambers had been keeping an eye on Goodrem's career and was impressed with her vocals and songwriting skills. The two writing together resulted in many of the album's key tracks. It's really unusual to work with somebody so talented, young and brave, who's not scared to take risks and who has the most emotional voice in pop music. You cannot help but believe every word Delta sings. Chambers states about working with Goodrem. Goodrem stated that Chambers was a classy producer and that he was an inspiration to work with. Songs that people could still relate to, but songs that also confronted issues. This past chapter of my life has been such an intense one, and I wanted people to know my thoughts. Chart performance and promotion. Out of the Blue was the first song off the album to be released and was released to radio on 24 September 2004 and quickly became the most added song to radio for that week. The music video was directed by Nigel Dick and made its premiere to television on 1 October 2004, right after the Australian soap opera Neighbours. Goodrem performed the song live for the first time on 17 October 2004 at the 18th Annual Area Awards, and that same night Out of the Blue made its debut in the charts at number 1, Goodrem's sixth consecutive number 1 single in Australia. Debuting at number 1 on its first week, the song also was certified platinum by ARIA and stayed at number 1 for 2 more weeks. The song also reached the top 10 in the UK and the top 20 in Greece, Ireland, and New Zealand. Mistaken Identity debuted at number 1 on the ARIA album chart on 15 November 2004 with triple platinum sales, knocking Robbie Williams' album Greatest Hits off the top spot. Unlike her debut album Innocent Eyes, Mistaken Identity only spent 1 week at the top, being knocked off by Eminem's album Encore and falling to number 2. In its third week, it fell to number 3, but in its fourth week it jumped up to number 2. The album spent 8 weeks in the top 10. When the album was in its fourth week in the chart and its position at number 2, it had gone 4 times platinum, and by its sixth week in the chart at number 5 it went 5 times platinum. The album spent 46 weeks in the charts, leaving at number 100. It was the 13th highest-selling album in Australia for 2004 and the 30th highest-selling album for 2005. In 2005, the album was nominated for 1 ARIA Award, Highest Selling Album, but lost to Missy Higgins' album The Sound of White 2004. The album did not perform as well in the UK, debuting and peaking at number 25 and then falling to 44 in its second week. It spent a total of 10 weeks in the top 75 and accredited gold by BPI. The second song lifted off the album was an Australian-only release, the title track Mistaken Identity, released to radio on 6 December 2004, and became the second most added song to radio for that week. The music video for the song was directed by Michael Spixia, released on 13 December 2004, and was based on the 1984 film The Never-Ending Story. It was released as a CD single in January 2005 and debuted at number 7 on the Australian Singles Chart, the fifth highest entry for that week, and was certified gold by ARIA. Almost Here was the third song released from the album, but was the second internationally. A song about a broken relationship, the video was filmed in a London airport between 27 and 29 October 2004. It became one of Goodrem's biggest hits, making it her seventh number 1 single in Australia, her first in Ireland, and her fifth top 10 hit in the UK, and was nominated for an ARIA Award in 2005 for highest selling single, but lost to The Prayer by Anthony Callia. A Little Too Late was the fourth song released from the album on 30 May 2005, and the music video was directed by MTV Award winner Anthony Rose and was premiered 2 May 2005 on the Channel 10 News. The song was only released in Australia and did not chart like the other singles, debuting and peaking at number 13. The last song released from the album was Be Strong, which was only released in Australia as a digital download on 17 October 2005. Track listing. Besides, the following tracks were not released on the album, but were recorded during the same sessions and were released on the singles. Personnel. David Arch, piano track 2. Billy Mann, background vocals track 3, guitar track 3, producer track 3. Jim Brumby, additional engineering tracks 1 and 2. Guy Chambers, acoustic guitar track 1, bass guitar tracks 1 and 2, electric guitar tracks 1 and 2, piano track 1, producer tracks 1 and 2, wood and 2. Jason During, drums track 3. Richard Flack, mixing tracks 1 and 2, producer tracks 1 and 2, programming track 1, tambourine track 1, tambourine track 1, and track 1 and track 1. Delta Goodrem, background vocals tracks 1, 3, piano tracks 1, 3, keyboards, concept. Conrad Korsch, bass track 3, Brian McLeod, drums tracks 1 and 2. Tessa Niles, background vocals track 2, Gary Nuttall, background vocals track 2, Phil Palmer, acoustic guitar tracks 1 and 2, Steve Power, producer tracks 1 and 2, Kai Pratt, bass guitar track 2, rack 2, Frank Riccati, glockenspiel track 2, marimba track 2, vibraphone track 2, Chris Roge's arrangement and programming track 3, track 11, strings track 3, guitar track 3, Paul Stanborough, electric guitar track 2, Eric Schermerhorn, electric guitar track 1, Tim Vander Keuel, electric guitar track 2. Charts. Certifications. Release history. References.